Hey, what's up?
All your favorite artists.
Check it out.
Say my name.
DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
Tune in now on hot7025fm.com. Hey, it's Icarice, and I'm here to tell you about Hotcast for Podcasting. We are a podcasting studio located in Las Vegas, Nevada, in the Hot 702.5 FM studios. You can book online at hot7025fm.com. Just click on Hotcast. You can book and find your times right there. Thank you for booking with Hotcast for Podcasting.
Hey y'all, this is The Flow on Hot 702.5 FM. Y'all, I got a new music alert, Young Steady and Purple Haze. Y'all can listen to them right here at Hot 702.5 FM. But not only that, you can find them on every streaming app. Listen, y'all don't even have to wait.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Cheryl Underwood, and you're tuned into the hottest news station on the planet, Hot 702.5.
Yeah. Jones. Hey, Greg Deville was at it, man. Hey, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in. We here to help. Now tune in. We here to help. You wanna be a broker, you wanna be broke. You wanna be the joker, you wanna be the joker. You gotta bring more to the table than your hope, dreams, and wishing. I can feed you fish or I can take you out fishing. I can show you the vision, addition and division, mathematic equation. Make the money flip like an acrobatic, amazing. Greg Deville help you build the foundation. I'm saying, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in. We here to help. Now tune in. We here to help.
Let's get straight to it.
I can hear my mama now. Go on, baby, pop your shit.
Hey, now say nice, easy rap.
Easy to spark.
At Hot 702.5 FM.
Y'all get ready to pop y'all shit, you heard?
Vegas, good afternoon. Greg Deville back in the studio once again. Let's have some fun. Let's talk about some wealth building ideas and strategies. On this beautiful Hump Day Wednesday, it's 12 o'clock. We're here every Wednesday at 12 noon to talk to you about wealth building ideas right here at 702.5 FM. Thank you for tuning in this morning. We want to talk this morning about one of the things. I want to give you 10 pointers on wealth building strategies. 10 pointers on wealth building strategies. Number one, let's talk about savings. One of the things we have to do better is saving money. I'm telling you to refrain from overspending and frivolous shopping. It is very important to begin this strategy of success and wealth. We want to talk about savings because one of the things we can do with money saved, there's a couple ways. First, we want to talk about paying yourself. Let's talk about paying yourself. Whenever you're on a job, you get paid, you should put aside 10% for yourself. Now, that money can be put into a interest-bearing account, something that it's not on a debit card. It's put away where you don't have to have access to it, because we're investing for purpose. We're investing for reason, right? So we want to talk about to refrain from overspending. Now, oftentimes we're living from paycheck to paycheck. So we have to figure out how is it that we have so many expenses and we continue to accumulate. And sometimes things that are unforeseen we may be doing that impulse shopping. Okay? Because we want to go into 2025, but we want to start now. And this impulse shopping, we're getting ready to go into Christmas time. And if we take the opportunity, let's start saving. There may be some toys that the kids had that just needed batteries. We can just buy some pack of batteries, right? Just get some of this stuff cranking. I'm just saying, finding ways. Because if we go into 2025 with the same way we've been doing it, if we're going to do the same thing expecting different results. It's insanity, right? We can't continue in the same vein. We've got to change our behavior. Save to invest in passive income, right? When we talk passive income, business ventures or investments that require minimal active interest, all right? Passive income. Things that make money for me that I don't have to put a lot of time. I can work a 9 to 5 and yet invest in something that is considered passive income, such as rental income, earning money from renting out properties, whether commercial or residential. Now, what I like to see is those of you that have property, let's talk about using that equity in your property that you have sitting in the property, but it's not creating a residual income. So we're going to talk wealth building. Let's talk about residual income. How can I use the equity in my home to make money? Now imagine this. You have $300,000 equity in your home. What are you doing with that equity in your home? Well, at this time, you're simply leaving it in there. Well, if you use the $300,000, let's say you put it on a duplex, triplex, or fourplex. Not a single family home as an investment so much, only because it's only going to pay its own mortgage. But if we go into I would prefer a fourplex and above, right? Now in fourplex, we stay in residential, but we go above 4, we're going into commercial. Now keep in mind, residual income, meaning you put $200,000, $300,000 on a fourplex. Well, again, keep in mind this residual income. Your money is now making money for you. Now, many of you, we talk about the 401k into real estate, whether for personal use or for passive income. Now, you have a 401k on your job, but you own a home. So how do we make that 401k work in our favor? Well, we can allocate those funds out of the 401 into an investment portfolio. Let's talk about getting into something. Now, many of you, let's say you don't own a home, but you can buy a fourplex, occupy one of the units for at least 1 year. That means one Christmas tree, one Thanksgiving dinner. And guess what? Now it becomes an investment property for you, which means you've stayed in the property 1 year. That's 12 months you haven't paid a mortgage. Why? Because the income from generating from the other 3 units are covering the mortgage. Now you're going to take where you would have been paying rent and put that money into an interest-bearing account, right? 12 months, no rent, but you're going to pay as if you were paying rent or a mortgage. So that way in 12 months, you have those funds. Now, remember, the other 3 units are paying off the mortgage. You don't have a mortgage payment. You're benefiting by saving that money. Guess what? 12 months, whatever it is. Let's say you were paying $18,000, $19,000, $2,000 a month on a rental in an apartment. Well, you're going to still pay that $2,000 a month, but it's going to be in an account. Now, at the end of the year, you got $24,000. You're going to now purchase another property where now, let's say you want that home, but you make the sacrifice of an investment property. So now you can use the income from the investment property because now you can rent that unit out that you've been occupying. So now we're talking about added income to your income, which can be used toward what? Purchasing the other home. Now, so that property is paying for itself. Now you have income coming in from that property that you can use toward paying down or paying your mortgage on your home. So we talk residual income to keep things that's passive income. Don't forget, anything that you could put money into that takes very little, minimal time can be passive income. Now, let's talk about health and wellness ventures. I wrote down 10 things that I wanted to speak to you this morning. Wealth building ideas and strategies. Now, we talk health and wellness ventures. Business focused on health products, wellness, coaching, fitness programs, capitalizing on the growth and health consciousness of consumers today. Now, some of you are very knowledgeable in the health and wellness. So again, there's more opportunities to create wealth. Health and wellness ventures, creative content creation, utilizing platforms like TikTok or podcasts to create engaging content. Many people are making money from the TikTok and those different platforms. And so that's another way of building wealth, right? Engaging content, ads, sponsorship, merchandise can be lucrative. So with that being said, we're talking about strategies, right? You work a 9 to 5. How can I create a passive income? What can I do to make my money in my home, my equity, work for me? Now, we're not talking about refinancing a home. We're talking about doing a home equity line of credit where we're pulling funding out of the property. Now, I want to have, and we're going to do this on next week, I want to talk about credit. Because when we go into the credit, understand credit it can be a great benefit to you. Having great credit will allow for you to be able to get things at a less interest rate, which is saving money. There are credit cards that have 0% interest. Many of us cannot qualify because we're really not there. But as you get your credit, you're going to get better interest rates. When you go for products, you get looked at in a different light. So we want to talk about things that we could do to prepare for 2025. Very important. If we don't start now, and I always use the analogy, games are won in the fourth quarter. What are you doing in this fourth quarter to win, to go into the next game? What is the next game? 2025. What are you doing to get in position, get in line for 2025? You've got to have a strategy, a game plan. What am I going to do? Oh, I'm going to make this, resolution. Let's start now. Let's commit to wealth building. Let's commit ourselves to saving money. Let's commit ourselves to stop frivolous shopping. Listen, Gucci's paid, Fendi's paid, Coach is paid, Michael Kors. Never heard those guys putting anything back in my community other than Nike. And I see that they give shoes away, in our community. But we want to look good, but we have no assets. When I talk assets, you have the ability to leverage assets. And when you don't have any assets and you're in a tight, you know why successful people buy items of value? Because they retain value. So if you want to retain value, you need to get things that are of such valuableness, right? So if we talk about that, Rolex watches aren't the best looking watches, but they retain the value. Let's say you get in a tight, things ever got tight for you. Guess what? You can leverage a Rolex. $25,000, $30,000 watch, $60,000 watch. You need $20,000. Guess what? You have leverage. You got a car that you own the title. Things get tight. You need a strategy on how you can leverage something just to pull you out. You're waiting on something to come through. You got leverage. You got leverage. But many of us, we owe. So off to work we go because we never come up with a strategy on how to build wealth, and that it becomes, now watch, generational. Because if we have a poor mindset, we don't help our children with a wealth mindset. If we just looking good, we want everything that looks good, we want to drive what looks good, but we're in constant debt. How do we create wealth? And one of the other ways, now I wrote down 10 ways. So we talked about health and wellness ventures, rental income property, earning money from renting out properties, right? We talked about saving. We talked about creative content creation, right? Let's talk about skill development and education. Continuously invest in your education to adapt to market demands, right? Upskilling in technology, finance, or making new career opportunities. I tell people, you got a passion. I know you work for the state, but you got a passion for cooking. So maybe let's talk about doing something that we can create a passive income. We can start a business on the side that we can put very little time into, but it's very lucrative. I have a friend who started a mobile barbecue business. Got the truck, got the pit, and very successful today. Started out part-time. It afforded him to retire from his job, and he's full-time. And you want to think about things that you have passion for. His passion for cooking. And he took his passion and he let it work. But he started part-time so that we can understand just as a passive income. But as it took off and it grew, it allowed him to be able to retire. Now, you have a retirement income. Many of you, we appreciate you that are veterans. and you have an income. But now with that income, are you allowing that income to be create some residual income? Because I know many of you are homeowners. So let's use the equity. Now, many times to get the equity out of the home, the FICO score is required. That's why we talk on my next show. I want to bring in a specialist. Let's talk about credit. How can we get our credit where it needs to be, that our credit can work for us? Because even to get a home equity line of credit, it is required a FICO score of a minimal 680. And maybe you're at a 640, 650, you're just not there. I know many people who have tons of equity in their home. And guess what? They're only $8,000 in debt, and they got $200,000 in equity. The problem being is you can't touch the equity because of a FICO score. And if you got a 30-day late on your credit, it's really going to hinder a lender from loaning you anything. So we want to talk about the valuable asset in credit, having great credit. Very important. Now, we talk about, and we'll do more on that next week, but we talk about disputing some items. You can't dispute everything. The fact is, you owe someone money, you need to pay it back, right? You owe to an old bill. Some of us had voluntary repo, but we have a balance left of that voluntary repo. Now, many have bankrupt. You've got to wait 2 years out of bankruptcy. But now, let's say you have a bankruptcy and you still have the home, and I just sold a home that was in a bankruptcy. So don't get in trouble and lose the equity. We were able to save a lady $140,000 by selling that home. But guess what that put her in position for? To pay off some debt, to bring your credit back up. Within a year, guess what? You could there is help after bankruptcy. There is recovery time after selling a home and being in default. Now, a lot of you are in default with your mortgages. Don't be embarrassed. You're not the first. You won't be the last. I've had to deal with it in the past. We've had strategies that have gotten us successful. And that's why today we're talking about wealth building ideas and strategies. I think some of the best people who can instruct us with certain things are people who've been through it themselves, such as myself. I've gone through the headache of modification. Oh my goodness, was it a mess? But did we make it? Absolutely. Can you make it? Absolutely. Skill development and education. Again, continually invest in your education and adapt to new market demands. Know what's available out there. Investing in technology. Explore emerging technology, right? Such as AI, blockchain, and renewable energy. Now, some of you own your home. Renewable energy. Well, let's talk about renewable energy. We talk about solar. Now, I've placed solar on my home over 2 years ago, and I haven't gotten a power bill. Guess why? Because I'm using renewable energy, right? And understand this, that when you have solar, every day the sunshine is your power source. So as you create a source of power, you're putting yourself in a better position. Guess what? I don't have that increase of power bill. 1 month I'm here, next month I'm higher. And then not to mention the increases that come with being connected to NV Energy. Versus I'm on solar now. I'm not totally off the grid. However, I'm creating my source of energy. Now, with that being said, it's no upfront cost. Isn't that wonderful? It adds value to your home. But did I say no upfront cost? I think one of the greater parts of me entertaining the idea of solar was that it was no upfront cost. It did not cost anything for me to have solar installed on my home. So with you, and you're a homeowner, in fact, if you're a landlord, you can actually have solar onto your rental property and have the tenant, add the tenant to paying the bill, whatever. Let's say, for me, I have 39 panels, which runs me about $260 a month. I'm only paying for the panels, but I'm purchasing. So there's options of lease or purchase. I love to own my stuff, because eventually I'll pay it off and I won't have I won't have a bill at all, right? I'll continue to produce my own energy. So I look at it from that. Now, some people, to have a less monthly cost, you're having to do a lease. Now, of course, lease probably could get it $150 a month. But because I want to be in ownership, I have a problem with leasing. That's just my own personal preference. However, but ownership, lease, whatever. But now with ownership, there's an incentive up to $15,000 credit tax incentive, right? And if you're exempt from taxes, that may not work for you because you're exempt. But these are strategies that we're talking about, wealth building ideas that's going to help you coming in 2025. I love to get a head start now. We talk things now, put it in your mind, get you prepared for it. Understand the opportunities now. You don't have to wait, well, that's going to be my resolution. No, resolution now. Games are won, always won in the fourth quarter. I don't care what you do in the first half. I don't care what you do in the third. It's down to the last 2 minutes of the fourth. And even in that, I've seen Aaron Rodgers come back with 1 minute, 10 seconds down. Came back and won the game. And they were down. But I'm telling you now, you could have had mishaps in 2024. But if you go in with strategies on how to build wealth, creative ideas, you birthing something. It's time to give birth to your vision. You're passionate for something. It's time to give birth to your passion. Wealth building comes from within. You got to have a mindset. The wealth mindset of success. A success mindset. It's how you generate to produce for yourself. The mindset. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. Because we can be so creative, but you've got to get off your seat of do nothing and do something. Many times people are procrastinators. They've got great ideas and they're fearful of stepping out on them. Now that's a great mark in itself, is to step out on what you feel, what you're passionate about. I've been in business over 42 years for myself. I don't know how to hold a job. That wasn't in my DNA. I had a job when I moved to Vegas 23 years ago, painting houses, and then I started my own business again. And here I am 23 years later, still in business for myself in Nevada. But I came from California after I've been in business already out there for 15, 18 years. So I have a passion for this. Did I start being an agent right off? No, I started as a handyman. My dad taught me to fix houses. And it's funny, as a kid, I had to fix the house, and I didn't like it. But as I grew older, I understood I had a gift that my father poured into me and said, boy, get your hands out your pocket. Do something. And today I've learned, and people say, well, how do I start a business, Deville? What do I do? My question to you is, what do you have passion for? Even when the money's not coming in, because passion will keep you going, even when the paycheck isn't coming. Now, ultimately, you're working towards getting paid. But sometimes that's sacrifice. I've had people who start businesses, that first year business, they were just keeping the doors open. They weren't really succeeding in profiting in that first year or two. You might just be breaking even. But at the end of the day, the eyes on the big picture. Will it happen? I know, speaking to my engineer here at the studio, I'm sure when she started, she didn't have as many clientele talk shows in the beginning. But you know, it was pretty tough, right? But she stepped out on faith, and it grew. And it grew. Now you have people are asking for time slots. Well, I don't have that one available. But I'm sure when you started, you didn't always have right off as you started, right? I mean, and like a lot of businesses, you know, you got to build a clientele, word of mouth. When I started in real estate, matter of fact, I got licensed in 05 to be a realtor. Well, 06, 07, the market crashed. But because I had passion for real estate, I stayed as a handyman. I continued. And I'm saying that to encourage you that, yeah, there's some bumps in the road. Yeah, there's some storms up ahead, but the sun will shine again. So if we go into wealth building ideas and strategies, will we get bumps in the road? Absolutely. Will we get to a place where times look very difficult? Absolutely. Are there times I've considered shutting the doors? Absolutely. But then it's either shut the door and get a job or find another strategy to build wealth. Find another strategy on how to accomplish my goal and my mission of life. And that's to empower my community on wealth building, generational wealth, residual income. So what I do, I get on radio and we talk about ideas. If you got an idea, I want to hear from you. 702-349-0162. Let's talk about it. We've got a little time on the show, or you can call me afterwards and we can put a date where you can talk on the show. We invite other ideas. I have an insurance person. There's some information about insurance that I want you all to know about. We're going to bring that as well. So we're just coming back to our studio at 702.4, hot 702.5 FM. We're just starting back. We took a somewhat of a break, sabbatical, if you will. We had to get some things in line, in order, and so it's okay. We're back. But again, so investing in technology, explore the emerging technologies such as AI, blockchain, renewable energy, and the other one. So we're talking wealth building ideas. I gave up 10 today. 10. I'm at number 9. Number 9 is home equity line of credit for a startup. Now, many of you have a venture that you want to start a business, whether it's marketing, food, mobile food, catering, whatever. Many of you can use a home equity line of credit as a startup. Where can I get the funding to start up? And sometimes that's the biggest challenge with starting a business, is the startup. But you own a home, so you can use the equity in the home. But now remember, what you allocate those funds for, stay focused on the mission. I've seen people get the money and start getting excited about what they can afford to purchase. Get excited about, I can buy this and I can do that. I tell people, if you take money out of your home, I was talking to a gentleman the other day, and he said, man, I almost got $300,000 in equity. I said, have you thought about residual income through a home equity line of credit? They call it a HELOC. Let's say you use that money. You don't want to refinance the house. Many of you have 2, 3, 4% interest rate. Well, the rates are about 7, somewhere at 6.5%, 7%. So you don't want to refinance your whole loan. So you do a home equity line of credit. Let's say you take $100,000, but the interest rates are 7%. So you'll pay that amount forever, however much you use. Just that amount, it's $100,000. Now, if you only use $40,000, you're only paying back what you use, right? So it's like having a credit card. But that can be used as startup to start your business. Somebody you want a mobile food truck, right? Where you could do mobile catering. But that truck runs about $45,000. But you have a home equity line of credit that can afford you to purchase that, as well as put it so that it's functional in what you're doing, right? Because the business is going, like my friend Frank Drummer, great mobile barbecue business, I tell you, and that truck is equipped with everything, right? Just roll up on you, and guess what? Everything he needs is right there. So the home equity line of credit for many of you for wealth building strategies is helping you start up that business. Whether it's marketing, something physical that you want to do, whatever that vision, that excitement that excites you, that passion, there's a way to do that. Now, think about it. Pray about it. This is coming on the last quarter of the year. What can I do that will help me build a residual income, right? Something that'll give me passive income, that I can move forward in knowing that my money's making money. Because I had a gentleman ask me once, he said, well, I'm about to pay the house off. I said, but is the house making any money? No, it's just paid off. Well, it's not enough to have an asset, but to have an asset that makes residual income is valuable. So not just paying off a home, but letting that home pay you, right? So we're going to take this $600,000, go put it on a 10-unit building. Now, 45 the units may pay the mortgage on it, but guess what? You didn't lose the $500,000. It's just sitting as an asset in the property, which is what? Creating wealth through equity, which is giving a residual income. And many of it's a passive income because the equity was just sitting in your home. You wasn't doing anything with it anyway. And so now, very little effort. You're just leveraging what you have. So for more information, reach out to me. Let's talk about how can we make this happen for you. 702-349-0162. So the home equity line of credit is a great startup to start that secondary business. That just think, if you start it now, it'll be up and running possibly. But you want to get your business licenses, you want to get your tax ID, your state license, so that you're operating and you're functioning properly in the state, right? Worst thing is you do all this and you find out that you're not licensed to do what you're doing. So we want to take right protocol, the fictitious name, the DBA. We want to do what we have to do so that we can make sure even the name of what we're calling our venture, that it's not a name already taken. So we want to go through the fictitious name, the business licensing department. Now, create wealth through equity with home ownership. Number 10, create equity with home ownership. Now, how do we do that? By owning a home. Now, keep in mind, there's no startup cost to owning a home, no money down. VA or first-time buyers are welcome. You don't have to have the experience in home ownership to be an owner of home ownership, and start building the equity. Start building the thing that's going to gain income, producing wealth. It's a wealth mindset that is so valuable for us. If you can think it, you can do it. You've got to put the passion behind the thought. And even if you don't know everything, that's what we talk about, going back and getting creative content creation. Go back and have vision, ideas. AI is very good at giving ideas. Just ask it a question. It'll give you some great ideas. I never thought about that. So these are opportunities we want to talk about that can push you or catapult you to that next dimension. Creating ideas for wealth building and strategies for 2025. I'm Greg Deville. You've been tuned into the Hot 702.5 Wednesday afternoon Hump Day show with Greg Deville. We are excited to be back to talk with you on wealth building. Now, many of you know I'm a real estate broker here in Las Vegas, and I help families a little bit of everywhere. Thank you to those of you who listen to our shows. We do have other shows on other stations. We run commercials. Thank you for the referrals, the recommendations to helping families. You know, I'm an advocate for home ownership. I'm an advocate for building wealth. I'm an advocate for renewable energy. I think solar is the best thing since sliced bread. I believe solar is, per statistics shows, that Nevada by 2050 will be 80% renewable energy. People are going to, you see it everywhere. We're getting accustomed to seeing panels on roofs. It's part of the decorum now, right? Because we know the advantage. Now, if you sell your home, somebody thinks, well, I'm going to have to pay it off. No. Many of these units are transferable. The buyers have to qualify to take over the payment wherever you left off. So don't let it hold you down, because I made some notes about some of the things that renewable energy does. There's a benefit to having it on your home. Now, I have Deville Solar Marketing, where we market. And the reason I market real estate and solar is because I have them both. And I know the valuableness. We bought our home back 2016 at $292,000. The value is upward nearly $600,000. What do you say happened during that time? We built equity. The market has increased. Now that's happening with the landlord. What are you doing to benefit that the landlord doesn't keep benefiting on you? You got to get into the home ownership, right? It's no startup costs, much like the solar, no startup costs. It increases the home value. I was selling a home, and it took the value up $18,000 by having solar. The appraiser gave a value credit of $18,000 just for having it. It's like having a swimming pool installed. It adds value, right? You can receive a tax incentive up to $15,000 for the purchase of a solar installed on your home. That has a warranty. Somebody was complaining about, well, what kind of warranty comes with it? And you can do an insurance rider on the solar. You can lease or purchase, it has lease or purchase options that are available. So keep in mind, these are great benefits. And now this tops it off. With all those perks that I just mentioned, this tops it off. It's a fixed monthly payment. So you're purchasing the panels only, or you're leasing the panels. So when you do that, what happens is you're paying for that only. It's producing what you need on energy, but the bill is consistent. So those of you that are listening or know someone who says, well, I'm getting an energy bill and a power bill, in many cases, they need to add more panels to their home. They're under service. So if you contact your service company, that is your solar company, and consider qualifying for more panels to accommodate usage. You should not be getting an energy bill other than a $13, $15 connection fee from Every Energy. You should not be getting a power bill. And again, it's about capacity. without having the right capacity will hinder you from getting all usage. So ask myself, I pay one bill, $269 a month, the next 20 years. Or I can pay it off sooner with no prepayment penalty. But it has increased the value to the home. There are benefits. Didn't pay a dime up front. What I really thought was more powerful than everything, it didn't cost a dime to have installed. These guys went up on the roof, they're certified companies, installed the unit. And within 30, 45 days, I was up and running. Now, if you're considering that, contact me directly. I have my team get a hold of you. We'll do an assessment without cost. And let's talk about the advantages of the solar for you. What would that bill look like just being one payment? What does it look like? So now you know what your mortgage is because you're on a fixed rate. At least I hope you are. You're on a fixed rate. Every month you know your mortgage bill is whatever it is. How about if you could know your energy? Because as we have just gotten out of summer, I know the bill will go down, but man, we're still recovering. Well, at least not me anymore, but my bill back in the summer, a couple years back, was $900 to $1,200 a month just in the summer. I've got these high ceilings. Look, all my energy was going up there. Even in the summer, even in the wintertime, my heat sits up in that top ceiling and my gas bill. But the energy cost for running the system is running, and many of you have a pool. Understand, that all runs through your solar. You could just put solar on your pool so that you don't have the cost of the pool. I know people who've gotten solar just for the pool. But I would say combine the pool with the home and save that monthly so you know exactly where it is. There's no surprises. I know many times I was opening up the NV Energy bill and peeking at it like, ooh, what's this going to look like, right? But now I know for certain. Every month I don't have to worry about it. It's $269, period. That's it. Doesn't matter if I forgot to turn the AC off. It ran all day. I forgot to turn it up. You know, in the summertime, you should have your ACs about 80 degrees in the house, right? And the fan should be running. Because to cool a home 60, 70 degrees in a 110-degree day is just impossible. The unit will run all day trying to cool that house. So you just got to be smart about it. Close the blinds, keep it cool. Evening time, we recommend you can bring it down a bit to be a little more comfortable. But when you're at work all day, you know, clearly 80 degrees is comfortable. If you go out and you come back in the house, you're like, it feels good. Now, after a little bit, it may get a little warm. You may cut it down about 78, but don't run the unit all day for whatever that's worth. But we're talking about wealth building ideas and strategies. One of the things we're talking about, how do we save money? How do we keep more of our money in our pocket? And one of them is considering to saving money. To save money means to refrain from overspending and frivolous shopping. Pay yourself every pay period, all right? Put it away in an interest-bearing account. As it grows, just put it in an account, not a debit card to it, not easy access. You got to go into the bank and all that. So that way it's sitting there and it's growing. And you could use it towards something beneficial, such as that passionate business idea that you've been thinking about and it's been on you, right? You want to do that business, guess what? Using the equity in your home as a startup. But many of you don't have an asset, such as a home. If you don't wait. Contact Greg Deville. We're going to help you get into home ownership at no upfront cost. Then once we get you into the home with no upfront cost, we're going to get you in the home. We're going to get you into solar with, again, no upfront cost. So listen, I appreciate the time speaking with everyone that listened to our noonday show, Hump Day Wednesday, Wealth Building Strategies with Greg Deville. We're excited to talk to you about ideas. We want to hear from you. Let's talk about residual income, passive income, and get your credit so that you can save on a lot of things that we're losing money and we don't even think about it. Remember, this show is designed with you in mind to go into 2025 with a head start. Let's not wait. Let's get a head start before we waste a bunch of money on Christmas and then we still haven't gotten assets. We have no assets. You've got to stop owing and own. Stop renting and own. Stop purchasing and save. Let's think about it. It's doable. All right, it's a great, beautiful Wednesday afternoon. 702-349-0162. 702-349-0162. Greg Deville, Deville Realty Group. We're excited to come back to you next Wednesday at 12. Tell a friend. We'll tune in with you. Until then, may God's best be yours. Take care.